कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
अलग करो अलग करो अलग 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 अलग
अलग करो
अलग करो
When we separate and segregate everywhere else, then why not here? If separated at source, waste is a resource. All you have to do is segregate your waste using 3 bins. Green for wet waste, blue for dry waste, and red for domestic hazardous waste. Up to 90% of waste can be recovered and reused through composting, recycling, and effective treatment, resulting in a reduction in landfills and garbage burning, giving us clean air, water, and soil. Remember, once it's mixed, it can't be fixed. अलग करो हर दिन 3 दिन
अलग करो
There is only one river on earth whose enduring story is one of its gift to cleanse the impurities of a human soul. Legend and faith say that immersing in her waters, living or dead, frees one's soul into eternal liberation. Today, the mighty river stands polluted. Close to 4 billion people depend directly upon the sacred Ganga for food, water, or irrigation of their croplands. In return, she has been inundated with toxic industrial pollutants and plastic waste. On 3rd of October 2018, the Prime Minister of India said that India would be free of single-use plastics by 2022.
My government has announced that India will put an end to single-use plastic in the coming years. I believe the time has come for even the world to say goodbye to single-use plastic.
On the 4th of March 2019, the government of Japan and UN Environment Program announced a joint initiative to boost information and knowledge for developing countermeasures against marine plastic litter in Southeast Asia and India. A free-flowing and clean Ganga will be a huge step towards the dream of plastic-free oceans. Haridwar and Prayagraj, the lands of the Kumbh Mela. The city of Haridwar is where the Ganga enters the plains, and Prayagraj is the confluence of 3 rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati.
Of all the plastic that we have ever produced, used, and throw away, only maximum of 9% has been recycled. So all other 91%, majority, either we have just thrown away in a landfill, incinerated, or we just don't know where they went.
UNEP is conducting a comprehensive study to gather quantitative and qualitative data on plastic pollution from land-based sources. The study began in the first phase of countermeasure in 2019 and 2020, and it continues into the second phase in the years 2021 and 2022. The data will be used by policymakers to define a future course of action. In the first phase, all the plastic waste collected was segregated and was weighed to see the proportion of each kind of plastic in that location. During this phase of countermeasure, many social experiments were done to counter the problem of plastic litter. Phase 2 carries forward the work already done and is building upon the studies and findings of the earlier phase. Awareness campaigns are important for cleaning the Ganga of plastic pollution. The project has worked hard with religious leaders to spread the message during the religious ceremonies. People are also encouraged to take a pledge to keep the Ganga clean of plastic pollution. Another important activity is training and building the capacity of Safai Karamcharis or cleaners.
So this is one of the first projects that we have started, and it has brought in some very good learnings, which can be useful for not only UNEP but also for the various ministries of the government and various stakeholders in India.
This is a step in the right direction towards the larger goals of freeing our oceans of plastic litter, saving marine life, and restoring our ecosystem. Countermeasures against marine plastic litter to clean our sacred Ganga is a good fight that still continues.
Tick 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे अगर सुन लो संभले ना हम तो बम ये फट जाएगा कि बहती सी नदियां का ये पानी रुक जाएगा
अगर सुन लो संभले ना हम तो बम ये फट जाएगा कि बहती सी नदियां का ये पानी रुक जाएगा
कि कर दो रहम धरती का ये दम भी घुट जाएगा कि कुदरत की नस नस में जहर ये बस जाएगा प्लास्टिक ये हम सब मोहताज है कैसा ये समाज है
कल ना हो हाथों में आज है
मौका ये अपना गवाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 टिक
प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे सिचुएशन ड्रास्टिक है जहाँ देखो वही प्लास्टिक है सिचुएशन ड्रास्टिक है जहाँ देखो वही थैली बोतल स्ट्रॉ इत्यादि सर्रे सर्रे में फैला दे ना घट पाए ना मिट पाए रह रह के टॉक्सिक बन जाए इससे छुटकारा तो नहीं पर है एक सरल उपाय रे सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक को हम कह दे बाय बाय रे टिक 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 टिक
कसम ये खाए रे
टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
हम जो मिलकर ठान ले अगर वक्त ये बदल जाएगा कि इस धरती के कांधे से बोझा हट जाएगा
Refuse to choose reuse, recycle. ये नई रिवाज है प्लास्टिक वाले स्माइल सारे पूछ के आओ खुल के मुस्कुराए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 टिक
कसम ये खाए रे
टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
अलग करो अलग करो अलग 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 अलग
अलग करो
अलग करो
When we separate and segregate everywhere else, then why not here? If separated at source, waste is a resource. All you have to do is segregate your waste using 3 bins: green for wet waste, blue for dry waste, and red for domestic hazardous waste. Up to 90% of waste can be recovered and reused through composting, recycling, and effective treatment, resulting in a reduction in landfills and garbage burning, giving us clean air, water, and soil. Remember, once it's mixed, it can't be fixed. अलग करो हर दिन 3 bin
अलग करो
There is only one river on earth whose enduring story is one of its gift to cleanse the impurities of a human soul. Legend and faith say that immersing in her waters, living or dead, frees one's soul into eternal liberation. Today, the mighty river stands polluted. Close to 4 billion people depend directly upon the sacred Ganga for food, water, or irrigation of their croplands. In return, she has been inundated with toxic industrial pollutants and plastic waste. On 3rd of October 2018, the Prime Minister of India said that India would be free of single-use plastics by 2022.
My government has announced that India will put an end to single-use plastic in the coming years. I believe the time has come for even the world to say goodbye to single-use plastic.
On the 4th of March 2019, the government of Japan and UN Environment Program announced a joint initiative to boost information and knowledge for developing countermeasures against marine plastic litter in Southeast Asia and India. A free-flowing and clean Ganga will be a huge step towards the dream of plastic-free oceans. Haridwar and Prayagraj, the lands of the Kumbh Mela. The city of Haridwar is where the Ganga enters the plains, and Prayagraj is the confluence of 3 rivers, Ganga, Yamuna, and the mythical Saraswati.
Of all the plastic that we have ever produced, used, and throw away, only maximum of 9% has been recycled. So all other 91% majority, either we have just thrown away in a landfill, incinerated, or we just don't know where they went.
UNEP is conducting a comprehensive study to gather quantitative and qualitative data on plastic pollution from land-based sources. The study began in the first phase of countermeasure.
Hello, hello. Good afternoon to all. Respected dignitaries, ladies and gentlemen, who all are joining today for this virtual launch event on awareness campaign on single-use plastics 2021 from across the country and also some parts of the world. We all have gathered here virtually for the launch of an awareness campaign on single-use plastics 2021. This launch event is going to be in two parts. In the first part, we have amongst us Shri Rameshwar Prasad Gupta sir, Secretary Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. Shri Naresh Pal Gangwar, Joint Secretary Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India. Mr. Dilip Chenoy, Secretary General FICCI. Mr. Atul Bagai, Head of UNEP India, Country Office. Dr. Yuli Ravel, Country Director, GIZ India. I would like to invite Mr. Naresh Pal Gangwa for the welcome remarks. Thank you.
नमस्कार, श्री आरपी गुप्ता जी, सेक्रेटरी मिनिस्ट्री ऑफ एनवायरनमेंट फॉरेस्ट क्लाइमेट चेंज, श्री दिलीप शनॉय, सेक्रेटरी जनरल फिक्की, श्री अतुल बगाई, हेड ऑफ यूनेप इंडिया कंट्री ऑफिस, डॉक्टर यूली रावेर, कंट्री डायरेक्टर जीआईजी इंडिया, एक्सीलेंसीज, कलीग्स, पार्टिसिपेंट्स, लेडीज एंड जेंटलमैन, I welcome you all today on the launch event of Awareness Campaign on Single-Use Plastics 2021. Today is a very important day, that is World Ocean Day, which is celebrated on 8th June every year to signify the role and importance of oceans in our life. The sustenance of oceans is must for the ecosystem to survive. Marine plastic litter is emerging as a global challenge and has a significant adverse impact on the marine ecosystem. The littered single-use plastic finds its way into the ocean, thus forming part of marine plastic litter, which has negative impact on the marine ecosystem. Managing plastic waste and littered single-use plastic will go a long way in reducing marine plastic litter. Globally, many countries have been making efforts through policy and regulatory instruments, augmenting waste management infrastructure to address plastic waste pollution. We are all aware that Honorable Prime Minister of India has given a call to phase out use of single-use plastic by 2022 in the country. The plastic waste management rules in 2016 provide the legal framework for management of plastic waste in the country. Behavioral change is important to address plastic pollution. Intensive efforts have been put in by the government to raise awareness and sensitize citizens on plastic waste management. The launch of the awareness campaign on single-use plastic 2021 on the occasion of World Ocean Day is a significant step in the journey towards reducing pollution caused by littered single-use plastic items, as also the commitment to address the challenges posed by the marine plastic litter. In today's function, we have senior representations from UNEP, GIZ, Government of Germany, and FICCI. We are happy to have all participants of all major stakeholders also. I again welcome you all to the program and look forward to the successful 2-month campaign with the joint efforts of FICCI, GIZ, and Government of India. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. After the welcome remarks, I would like to present before all of you an initiative of the United Nations Environment Program, which they started in 2019, Tide Turner Plastic Challenge, which is aimed at engaging youth across the country to address the problem of plastic pollution. I would request to play a short video film on it. Thank you. Since its inception in 2019, under this Tide Donor Challenge, more than 2,500 champions have emerged successfully so far. In order to motivate those champions and to motivate all others to follow similar actions and similar path, I would like to present a few of them before all of you. May I request to present the youth champions on the screen. Next. Miss Sneha Shahi is a Tide Turner champion from MS University, Vadodara, who inspired her college mates and cleaned up a patch of the Bhuki stream near their college, bringing back the crocodiles and turtles in the now clean stream. Miss Manasi Thakur is a young geologist, and her group, Environment Conservation Youth Club, with over 100 members, have involved local communities in coastal areas of Mahua in Gujarat in beach cleaning drives and their maintenance. Miss Rushali Kilrani from Delhi, along with her team, has influenced more than 30,000 people through events in schools, colleges, offices, virtual webinars, and talks to switch to menstrual cups or eco-friendly pads in 8 states of India. I hope many more youth champions would emerge in the Tide Turner Challenge, which still is underway in its 3rd phase. Next, I invite Mr. Dilip Shenoy, Secretary General FICCI, for his remarks. Thank you.
Thank you, and good afternoon, and I hope you and your families and all your colleagues and their families are safe. Honorable Minister, Shri Prakash Javdekarji, Shri Babul Supriyo, Honorable Minister of State, Honorable Mr. Joachim Frashbach, State Secretary, Federal Ministry for Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety, Germany, Dr. Nichin Shering, Regional Director, Asia and the Pacific, UNEP, Shri Rameshwar Prasad Gupta, Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Dr. Julie Riveri, Country Director, GIZ India, Mr. Atul Bagai, Head of UNEP India Country Office, Mr. Naresh Pal Gangwar, Joint Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, distinguished delegates, friends of the media, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to extend a very warm welcome to you all at the launch of the campaign on Single-Use Plastic 2021. I'm glad that the launch of this campaign is held on a very ideal day, the 8th of June, and it is designated as the World Ocean Day. We're also thankful to the Ministry of Environment and Forests and Climate Change, Government of India, for kindly associating FICCI in this important event. FICCI is actively engaged with the industry on a wide range of issues of plastic waste management. We feel that the strategy on single-use plastic and its momentum towards implementation need to be accompanied by enabling framework for industry and consumers to make a smooth transition and support for the small and medium enterprises. Ladies and gentlemen, as you're all aware, only 9% of all the plastic waste is recycled, and about 12% has been incinerated, while the rest, which is 79%, gets accumulated in landfill, dumps, or the environment. Such waste does not biodegrade. Instead, they slowly break down into smaller pieces of plastic called microplastics. Unfortunately, a staggering 8 million tons of plastic end up in the world's ocean every year. If the present trend continues by 2050, there could be more plastic in the world's waters than fish. Thus, it is imperative for us to create and promote widespread awareness towards the usage of plastic and especially how to manage their waste effectively. We are confident that the campaign will not only bring in the behavioral change towards plastic waste and single-use plastic, but will also create enormous opportunities for the skill enhancement, wealth creation, improved public health, among others. We at FICCI are honored to have this opportunity to work together with the Ministry of Environment and Forest and Climate Change, GIZ and UNEP in this critically important initiative that will be vital for the environment and society. I would like to assure the Honorable Minister and all other stakeholders that FICCI will put its best effort to make the awareness campaign effective and successful. I would once again like to welcome all of you once more and thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Dilip Shenoy. Now I'll invite Mr. Atul Bagai, Head of UNEP India Country Office, for his remarks.
Thank you, and Honorable Secretary Saab, Rameshwar ji, Joint Secretary Saab, Gangwar Saab, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, President of friend Dilip Shenoy, Dr. Uli, Country Director, GIZ, Dechen Shering, our Regional Director of UNEP in the Asia and Pacific Office. I would first like to congratulate the ministry under the leadership of the Honorable Minister and specifically also Secretary Saab for taking this lead to organize this amazing program on the Oceans Day. And having worked with the ministry so closely over the last 3 years on these issues, this whole event should not just be seen as an awareness event, but should be seen as a part of a much larger game plan of the Government of India on blue economy. And this is the kind of approach that is needed for looking at a lot of activities to address the plastic litter issues and the single-use plastic issues. This whole blue economy approach is something that will be very unique. It also will need to involve the neighboring countries, with India having such a large coastline, and also bringing in the stakeholders at the national level to start working on this important issue. I think this whole event also assumes a lot of significance if we are looking at what was launched day before yesterday on the occasion of the World Environment Day. The decade of ecosystem restoration, which was launched at a global level, also brings in a very unique dimension to this whole issue that is being addressed in India. And this issue assumes also a global importance because India was the first country to actually announce, the Prime Minister announced that the single-use plastics will be phased out by 2022. And let me also highlight the fact that this singular announcement was the one that spearheaded the whole debate and the public discourse at the United Nations Environment Assembly #3, which was held in Nairobi, where the countries came together to take a resolution on plastics spearheaded by India. So I think what India announced, what the Prime Minister had announced, led to so many global countries taking this forward and also taking a resolution in the UNEP 3. UNEP is out here to support completely all the efforts of the Government of India. You just saw a very small effort on the Tide Turners Challenge. We are working closely with the ministry through eco clubs to take it to all the eco clubs in the country. And we are also working very closely with the ministry and other line ministries on a Norway project and on a Japan project on marine litter. And I think all these projects and all this work, as I said, is closely linked to the ecosystem decade of restoration. And I would like to conclude here by bringing in an idiom linking the Indian tradition and culture that is steeped in conservation of our nature, and with the Oceans Day and also with the decade of ecosystems. And this tradition of Atithi Devo Bhav, which in India is such an integral part of our culture, that the guest is to be treated like a god. I would like to take this one step further when we are launching this UN Decade on Ecosystem Restoration and Oceans Day. We would like to take the public discourse to the next level, that along with Atithi Devo Bhav, it is also Prakriti Devo Bhav, that nature is like God to us. And if we start looking at it in that perspective, I'm sure we would be taking a lot of steps to mitigate environmental damage and to conserve Mother Nature. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Now, I invite Dr. Yuli Rave, Country Director, GIZ India, for her remarks.
Good afternoon, everybody, excellencies, guests, believers, and supporters in this really important awareness campaign on single-use plastics and to get rid of it. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm very delighted to be virtually amongst all of you for the launch of India's awareness campaign on single-use plastic 2021. I very much applaud the ministry's initiative to organize a pan-India plastic waste management awareness event, and I'm convinced that this campaign will facilitate a constructive dialogue on plastic waste management for all stakeholders involved. We are super delighted to join hands with UNEP, FICCI, and the ministry to support the implementation of this important campaign. We believe that this campaign will not only raise awareness, but also create a platform for exchanging experiences and creating new knowledge on plastic waste management. As GIZ, we will add value by sharing experience from our work in more than 120 countries around the world, as well as the best available practices and experiences from Germany. GIZ has been cooperating as a valuable and trusted partner with the Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change for more than 3 decades. Over time, the focus of the Indo-German cooperation has changed from end-of-pipe solutions and emission monitoring to modern environmental policy, which adopts integrated and cross-sectoral environmentally sound approaches, as well as climate change. This awareness campaign on single-use plastics is being launched when the entire world is grappling with the critical challenge of our times. In response to the COVID-19 pandemic, countries around the globe are working towards green recovery and rethinking established systems. Much like the pandemic, managing plastic waste is a global problem. The plastic production rate has risen 20-fold over the past 70 years and is expected to double again over the next 2 decades. It is expected that by 2025, over 250 million tons of plastic will circulate in the oceans. Now imagine how horrible that is and what it will do to all the fish and all the living beings in the oceans. A transition to the plastics of the future can only be achieved through policies and plans aimed at sustainable consumption and production of plastics. This includes, amongst others, the critical challenge of reducing marine and riverine litter. A strategic approach in this direction would be the transition from a linear to a circular economy. Such an approach would not only focus on recycling, but fundamentally redesign our relationships with materials. In this context, a critical element would be to rethink how we package our products and explore alternatives to plastics. The implementation of instruments such as extended producer responsibility, EPR, and inclusive value chains would also play an essential role in this transition, a critical environmental challenge of our times. As a recognition of this challenge, India and Germany have embarked on a project to target the avoidance of marine litter. The German Federal Ministry for the Environment, Nature Conservation and Nuclear Safety, BMU, has commissioned GIZ to implement a project that fosters circular economy approaches to preventing marine litter in ecosystems. The project focuses on the demonstration of technological approaches to track and monitor litter in marine ecosystems in India and support the implementation of extended producer responsibility in collaboration with the MOE FCC. The private sector, in particular producers and waste management companies, and producer responsibility organizations will also play a very key part in this project. Given the focus of our cooperation on marine litter, I'm delighted that the awareness campaign is being launched on World Ocean Day. I believe that this campaign shall serve as an inclusive arena to exchange, define a way forward, and build nationwide consensus and awareness on the topic of plastic. We at GRZ are very much looking forward to, in collaboration with FICCI and UNEP, partner with MOE FCC to increase plastic awareness and implement the single-use plastic reduction into practice. We're looking forward to a sustainable and greener future in the post-pandemic world. Let's roll up our sleeves and let's all do our part. Because as we saw in the first little movie that we saw, it is really a matter of all of this to trickle down to the communities, to the children, to the young generation, but really to everybody. So it's up to all of us individually to do our part and stop marine litter. Thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you very much, Dr. Yuli Rabe. Now, I invite Mr. Rameshwar Prasad Gupta, Secretary, Ministry of Environment, Forest and Climate Change, Government of India, for his special address. Thank you.
Mr. Dilip Shenoy, Secretary General FICCI, Mr. Atul Bagai, Head of UNEP India Country Office, Dr. Julie Revere, Country Director, GIZ India, my colleagues in the ministry, and participants of this program who have worked in the field of collection of plastics and disposal of plastics and cleaning of the river and different systems, different nature systems. Friends, at the outset, I would like to express my appreciation for this event on the launch of the awareness campaign on single-use plastic 2021. As we all know, plastics form an integral part of our daily lives and have wide applications in agriculture, electronics, textiles, infrastructure, packaging material, and in many other sectors of our economy. I remember when we were a child, there was very little use of plastics in packaging of some cookies, biscuits, and those kind of things. But after that, plastic has almost been an integral part. Good or bad is a different matter. But it has been a very integral part of the, whatever you call it, development, growth, whatever it may be called. But we cannot deny that a lot of the progress and the growth which has been achieved has been due to the advent of plastics and its applications in different fields. It has reduced costs, absolutely no doubt about it. As a packaging material, it has provided the longevity to the products which was earlier was not there. In electronics, it's unique application and has actually led to the kind of development in electronic industry which has been seen. But all this has not been a one-sided or a positive impact. It has come at a very great cost. It has damaged our natural systems. It has damaged our soil, it has damaged our water systems, it has damaged our oceans, it has damaged our air. And I remember about 3 months back, I had gone to Lakshadweep. Now, these islands, there are a number of islands where there is absolutely no human presence. But in those islands, I saw the plastics which had been disposed of somewhere else, either by the ships or at some other coast, which has, over a period of time, that has come into these virgin islands where the human beings are not present, and plenty of plastics, almost tons of plastics on every beach. Now, that's the kind of damage which the plastic has caused to the environmental systems. And I'm happy that we are awakening and realizing the damage which it is causing to our systems. Single-use plastics, particularly if uncollected and littered, has very adverse environmental impact. And the ministry has been consistently taking steps to address the issue of single-use plastics. Plastic waste entering the water bodies from land-based sources flow into the ocean through rivers, and it affects the marine environment. It has been estimated that globally, over 300 million tons of plastics is produced every year, and about 8 million tons end up in the ocean every year. The plastic waste, we all know, it takes very long time to degrade, thus increasing the presence of plastic in the environment. In order to address the problem of single-use plastic, there is need for engagement between all stakeholders, including government, industry, civil society groups, and the citizens. It's a multi-pronged strategy which the ministry has adopted for phasing out the identified single-use plastics, which have very low utility and high adverse environmental impact. The key element of this strategy are awareness generation and behavioral change. And this program is part of a very important part of this step. We are also drafting policy and regulatory regime for phasing out identified single-use plastic items. Another element of the strategy is strengthening the waste management infrastructure following principles of circular economy engagement and engaging with all the central ministries. We are also engaging with the industry and industry association for assistance and capacity building. And finally, the crucial element which has already been mentioned is engagement with the producers, importers, and brand owners through extended producer responsibility. Recently, as part of our regulatory effort, the ministry had published a draft notification to phase out identified single-use plastic items in 2022 by amending the plastic waste management rules. Government of India is also providing support to the state governments for developing adequate waste management infrastructure for solid and plastic waste management through its flagship scheme of Swachh Bharat Mission. We are also making intensive efforts to raise awareness and sensitize citizens in plastic waste management. The development of affordable and eco-friendly solution requires participation of the private sector as well. The startup ecosystem in India has taken forward viable innovations, and entrepreneurs have developed eco-friendly alternatives to single-use plastic like cutlery and food packaging containers. The industry needs to foster innovative systems, develop and assimilate sustainable alternatives to these single-use plastic items, develop business models for commercialization, support redesign of products, and recognize the role of informal sector as an important part in our endeavor to collect the single-use plastic items. As single-use plastic and its pollution is a global challenge, we require the collaboration and partnership as an important part of this management. Awareness generation, as I said, is the first step towards behavioral change. The awareness campaign on single-use plastic 2021 is an effort to raise the capacity of various stakeholders with respect to plastic pollution, with a focus on single-use plastics. The campaign shall be a 2-month-long program with a series of events on reducing plastic waste generation, recognizing the need of effective plastic waste management, increasing the awareness of suitable alternatives, sustainable consumption and production, and extended producer's responsibility. The awareness campaign is being organized by our partners, FICCI, GIZ, UNEP, with the support of the organizations of this ministry. Let us all participate in this campaign and contribute in reducing plastic pollution and restore our ecosystem. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir. Sir, with your permission, I would request that we can break for 10 minutes and we again assemble for the second segment of this launch event, sir. Thank you, sir. At 4:10, we assemble again. Thank you.
Tick 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे अगर सुन लो संभले ना हम तो बम ये फट जाएगा कि बहती सी है नदियां का ये पानी रुक जाएगा
अगर सुन लो संभले ना हम तो बम ये फट जाएगा कि बहती सी है नदियां का ये पानी रुक जाएगा
कि कर दो रहम धरती का ये दम भी घुट जाएगा कि कुदरत की हर नस नस में जहर ये बस जाएगा प्लास्टिक के हम सब मोहताज हैं कैसा ये समाज है
कल ना हो हाथों में आज है
मौका ये अपना गवाए रे टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 टिक
प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे
टिक 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 कसम ये खाए रे टिक 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 प्लास्टिक टिक ना पाए रे सिचुएशन ड्रास्टिक है जहाँ देखो प्लास्टिक है सिचुएशन ड्रास्टिक है जहाँ देखो वही थैली बोतल स्ट्रॉ इत्यादि सर्रे सर्रे में फैला दे ना घट पाए ना मिट पाए रह रह के टॉक्सिक बन जाए इससे छुटकारा तो नहीं पर है एक सरल उपाय रे सिंगल यूज प्लास्टिक को हम कह दे बाय बाय रे